are live. So good morning, everyone. My name is Jesse, and I am with Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. For those joining us for the first time, we are all about bringing conservation, adventure, and science into classrooms around the world. And this is our last session of 2019. So since January 1st, we have done over 450 sessions, including quite a few with the Toucan Rescue Ranch, highlighting amazing animals, speakers, explorers, and more. So thank you guys for being a part of that and for wrapping up the year with us just before Christmas holidays. So let me introduce our two classes joining us live. We might get two more as this goes on. But yeah, we are joined right now by Miss Schluter's grade sixes in Pulaski in Wisconsin. Hi, guys. Welcome in. Hey. Awesome. Nice to see you. All right. And Mr. Shoe Guys, grade 5/6s in Kingston in Ontario. Hi, guys. Hey. And of course, the reason you guys are all here today is for our speaker. So we are joined live in Costa Rica at the Toucan Rescue Ranch. So for 15 years now, they have been rescuing, rehabilitating, re-releasing injured wildlife, some of the incredible diversity of creatures around Costa Rica. And while they deal with a lot of animals today, we are going to focus on sloths, probably the cutest creatures in the world. So we're joined by Daniel at the Rescue Ranch. He's going to take us through on a little tour, and then we'll have some time for some awesome Q&A. So without further ado, thank you so much for joining us, Daniel, and take it away.
Yeah, hello guys. My name is Daniel. Nice to meet you all. It's good to have you here. So just to introduce myself real quick, I'm a biologist and I've been working in the ranch for more than 3 years. Like they said, so at the end we're gonna have more time for any questions. So Toucan Rescue Ranch, we are a rescue center. So all these animals that we're receiving here, they're all rescued. None of them are pets. So they come here for many reasons. Today we're going to learn those stories. Toucan Rescue Ranch was founded in 2004 by Leslie Howe. Leslie Howe, she was born in the United States, but she got raised here in Costa Rica. So she got raised in Guanacaste, and that's in the North Pacific of the country. When she was 15, she went back to the United States. She got a high school degree, a college degree, and then in 2003, she arrived to Costa Rica, and then after marrying Jorge, they decided that they wanted to create a place where they could receive toucans, and that's what they did. They founded Toucan Rescue Ranch in 2004. Now, at the beginning, they only started to receive toucans. We're actually the first rescue center in the country to receive that species. And then in 2007, Leslie and Jorge agreed to receive an adult sloth as well. And then when MINAE, that is the Environmental Ministry of Costa Rica, they actually received a baby instead of an adult. So they kind of like freaked out a bit. But then they made it through, and her name is Millie, and she's still with us until this day. Now, we not only receive toucans or sloths, we also receive a bunch of other things that we take care of and release them back into the wild when possible. We have owls, we have an otter, we have monkeys as well. We have raptors and owls as well, and all different type of things. And by the way, there's a really special moment because can everyone see that he's closing his eye?
Yeah.
It's because he's pooping. Now, this is definitely a special moment because keep in mind that sloths, they, at least the adults, they only go to the bathroom at least once a week and they can hold it for 2 weeks. There's actually a good reason for this. And it's sloths, first of all, you know, that they're really slow. But usually when they go to the bathroom that is on the base of the tree, is where you can find the most predators. So like jaguars or possums or other different animals. So that's where they are the most at risk to get killed or to get attacked by any animal. So that's the reason why they go to the bathroom only once a week, to try to minimize that risk.
I really do not know any.
Yeah, there's a lot of things, thoughts that we definitely do not know, but it's really, really cool. So all these babies, or these baby sloths that we receive, they come here for many reasons. Most of them, they come here because the mom get electrocuted, or themselves, they get hit by cars, or they get attacked by dogs. So when they arrive, they need to go through a process that we like to call preschool, high school, university. When they get to university, they are released back into the wild. So we do have a release site The release site is located in Sarapiquí. That's in the Caribbean side of Costa Rica. And over there, we have a bunch of different animals that are being scheduled to be released, including the sloths. With the release of sloths, it's a whole different process because it takes around 2 years. These sloths, they do take a while to get to adulthood, at least this species. So when they're 2 years old, we release them back into the wild, and we also track them with tracking collars for around 6 months. So we have volunteers and interns that track them with radio collars to make sure that they're okay. And thanks to that, our success rate is really high, which is really good. Now, this species that you're seeing right now is the two-finger sloth, or officially named two-toe sloth. In the world, there's 6 species of sloths. Most of them can be found in South America and south of Central America, including Costa Rica. In Costa Rica, we only have 2 species. We have the two-fingered, that is this one right here, with two-toed, and then the three-toed, or also the three-fingered. That species can only found in lowland, like the Pacific slope and the Caribbean slope as well. And sorry about that. They're just sloths. Although you might think that they're quite slow, they're quite fast. So this one is going there. And so yeah, they have a lot of threats in the wild. A bunch of them, including deforestation. As you probably know, the sloths, they do live on the trees pretty much all the time. So deforestation is definitely taking a toll on them. And they also habitat fragmentation, animal pet trade. There's a lot of people that think that sloths are really good as pets. So they take them home, they take care of them for like 2 days, and then they realize that they're not good as pets. Because first of all, they're wild animals. You need to keep that in mind. And second of all, they're aggressive. I know that they don't seem like it, but sloths can be quite aggressive, and they're not good as pets at all. Not any single wild animal should be kept as a pet. So also in Costa Rica, it's estimated that we have 1 million stray dogs just going around, which in Costa Rica, we live in the rainforest. So that means that these dogs are everywhere. So again, when they go to the bathroom, the mom, for example, they get attacked by those dogs. And then sometimes the babies are just found on the ground or on the tree by themselves. So the sloths, they have a whole habitat in their fur. So they have a special fur that can take algae and moss. So if you ever had the chance to see a sloth in the wild, you see that they're like in a ball. They always scroll in a ball on the tree. I think that they're just finishing.
And they smell.
Yeah. So right now, they can also sense the for example, these two, they're together. So they can also sense the poo and the pee as well. So that can simulate other sloths to come, in this case, to do the same. A bit of a awkward close up to the poo that kind of looks like beans. But I think that's a really cool thing to see. So people say that it looks like the black beans that we eat in Costa Rica, or like the coffee beans. So yeah, they do have a lot of algae and moss in their fur, and that's essential for them to get camouflaged in the wild. Because since they're on a ball and they're green, then it's going to be way harder to see them in the wild as well. Also, well, here we have another one. So also they have beetles and moths on them. That helps them. We're not sure yet, but there's only a species of moth that can live on the sloth. That species of moth can only be found on the sloth. Now, the 2 species that we have, the two-fingered and three-fingered. The reason why we call them two-fingered or three-fingered instead of two-toed is because, as you can see, they have 3 toes, but the difference is on the front. So they have 2 fingers or 3 fingers. Now, the 2 fingers are these ones. They are omnivorous. This means that they eat a bunch of things, including leaves. That is the one that is eating right now. Also insects. In some occasions, some reptiles, small reptiles like lizards, and even eggs as well. So, but the 3-finger sloth, that is the one that is in Zootopia, in DMV, taken forever. That is the 3-finger sloth, the one with the smile on the mask. and they only eat leaves. Most of them eat a guarumo tree. That is a species of tree that is widely found in the country. But they also can eat other types of leaf as well. Now in here, they were eating poron, that this is one species of tree that we have, but we have these flowers that are hibiscus flowers. You can make really good tea with them, by the way. And these, the sloths, they love them. It's kind of like the chocolate for us.
Awesome. Daniel, I don't know if there's anything else that jumps out that you want to mention to us, but if it's okay with you, we can dive into questions with some of our classes.
Yeah, of course.
Perfect. All right. So we have two other classes that joined us as we began. So Miss Colburn's group, grade 6s in Kellogg and Idaho, welcome in, and Miss Pearson's grade 5s in Calgary and Alberta. So welcome to you guys. We've also got a bunch of classes watching on YouTube Live. So if you guys want to type in questions in the chat bar, please do so, and I'll pass anything along to Daniel. All right. So yeah, guys, let's dive in with questions on both sloths, the rescue ranch in general. I'm going to start with Mr. Shukai's class. You guys want to kick us off? Go for it. Yep, you're good. Hi. Go for it.
What are the biggest and smallest types of sloths in the world?
So the biggest species of sloths, they can be found in two-finger sloths, but the smallest is the pygmy sloth that can only be found in some islands in Panama. They're really tiny, and actually the access to that island is really restricted to protect those sloths from animal pet trade and other threats.
And so, Daniel, can you explain maybe with your hand? So, could a pygmy sloth fit in your hand? Does it weigh like a few pounds? And then the biggest one, the two-toed sloth, how big are we talking? Like, how big can a two-toed sloth get?
Yeah. So the pygmy sloth is around like this age. Keep in mind that these guys are around 1 year old, so they're not fully grown. So the pygmy sloth is around this size, the one that's like this one. Yeah. And then the biggest sloth is pretty much like double or even triple the size of this guys, and it can weigh more than 20 pounds.
Very cool. Thank you so much. All right. Miss Schluter's class. There's so many of you guys. Let's come to you guys for a question.
Sam, if you talk loud enough, they can hear you. How long does it take for them to go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Hey, that's a really good question. So it depends. For example, with the adults, it can take about like 5 minutes, sometimes even less. Keep in mind also that they can hold up to 3 liters of pee. So that's a lot of pee to dump, also with the poo. So they need to be as fast as possible because otherwise they can get attacked. So I would say around 3 to 5 minutes.
I mean, really, it's fascinating. It's such an odd thing to have happened. The first time we've seen that during one of the sessions. And I mean, this is a creature for which going to the bathroom is like a matter of life and death. It needs to do that and get back up as soon as possible because it's a sitting duck. So yeah.
It is. It's a poor risk.
Cool. All right. Let's go to Miss Colburn's group. I know you guys came in a little bit in, but if you have any questions, go for it.
How old the sloths get and how big?
Yeah.
Okay, so these the two-finger sloths, they can live between 20 to 30, between 20 to 30 years in the wild. In captivity is believed to be a bit more, and they can get as big as between 10 to 15 pounds.
Awesome.
So yeah, they can live quite a long time. The three-finger sloth, though, they can weigh around 10 pounds, sometimes a bit more, and they live between 15 to 20 years. Wow, they're going really high up.
You guys have a lot of sloths there. Like, it's been a very active sloth day.
We do.
All right. How about Miss Pearson's group? You guys look ready, so let me come to you guys for a question. Let's just get your mic demuted. Okay, so Miss Pearson, it's not letting me demute your mic, so you just have to demute it yourself. Just a little mic symbol, press it, and you're good to go. Yeah.
How does the algae grow on the sloths?
Yeah.
So the fur is really special because inside of the fibers is like hole. So that gives room for the algae to grow. Also, we need to remember that sloths do live in the rainforest. And it's because there's so much rain and humidity, their fur, and also because it's really long, they have a lot of space and just the right conditions to grow there. It doesn't affect them at all. It's actually really beneficial.
Yeah, very cool. I'm so glad we got a question on the moths. It's one of the neatest things about sloths, in my opinion. All right, let's go back to Mr. Shoe Guy's class. Come on up, guys. Second question.
What else do sloths eat?
Yeah.
Okay, so like I mentioned, the two-fingered sloth, that is this one right here. By the way, this is Grumpy. In the wild, they eat leaves, insects, lizards, and eggs. Being here in the wild, we give them a wide range of diets. So they eat the beans that he was eating. We also give them leaves, carrots. Both of them are boiled. Green mango, sometimes apple, sweet potato, and chayote. That is kind of like a squash. And once they're getting into adulthood and they're getting closer to be released, we start reducing on the veggies and we give them more leaves and more things that they're going to find in the wild that I already mentioned.
Sounds delicious. Daniel, actually, this is something that I like to highlight whenever we go to an animal hospital. How can you tell that a sloth is ready to be re-released into the wild? Like, what are the things you're looking for to say, okay, it's healthy enough, we can put it back in the forest?
So there are different criteria that we use. For example, the weight is one of the best. Obviously, we compare it to the weight of other sloths as well, so we can know that that's the average once they're about to release. Another good thing to note is if they're eating what they're supposed to eat in the wild. And a bad sign is if they're really used to humans, which is usually not the case, that's a big no. So they need to be as wild as possible, including, although it doesn't sound very pretty, aggressive. So we know that they're going to survive just fine in the wild. We also take into account how many times did they go to the bathroom. If they go too often, if they don't go too often, that's another sign that we use as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, Miss Schluter's class. Come on up, guys.
Why did you want that job?
Yeah.
That's such a good question. Well, so I'm working on the ranch because I believe that we need to help as much animals as we can. And there are so many dangers and so many threats in the wild. And to help here and to educate people and to help you guys as well to learn about sloths, to me, it's just priceless because you're learning about the animals and what to do in some cases. And that way we can reduce the cases that we receive. For example, there's sloths that we receive that they're pets. So by educating people, and that's part of my job, we can help educate people on that this is not okay and that sloths belong in the wild. That if you really want to go and see a sloth, maybe a good idea would be to visit Costa Rica and go into the rainforest and do some hiking or go to a rescue center instead of just having them as pets. So yeah, I think that's the reason why I do what I do.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad you like it and your passion is really evident. So it's amazing. This is just a quick segue, actually. So Costa Rica is a country that a lot of our students might not have visited. Can you tell us a little bit about the country on the whole and how committed it is to conservation? Because it's really a unique place in the world in terms of the amount of land set aside for conservation and the work that's being done there.
Yes, so Costa Rica, we are an example into the world for conservation. Obviously, we need to be honest. There's a lot of things to work on. But there's a lot of programs that the government and other organizations like Toucan Rescue Ranch are putting in place to try to save the animals, to focus on conservation. There's a really good program in Costa Rica that is supported by the governments and other non-governmental or organizations that is called Payment for Environmental Services. So the way that it works is that if you have like a big piece of land, like a lot of like space, so the government and other organizations will pay you for every amount of carbon that you're putting into the trees. So in other words, they're going to pay you if you have a rainforest in your property. So that way, a lot of people are migrating for having livestock that it takes so much space and also contaminations to put into the rainforest and help to basically create more space for the animals. Thanks to those programs, Costa Rica is 58% covered by forest.
Amazing. Very cool. Thank you, Daniel. That was great. All right, let's go back to Ms. Colburn's class. If you guys have another question, go for it.
Quick, go, Ashley. Okay, what?
How big are they when they're first born?
Oh, how big are they when they are first born?
Yeah.
Okay, so when they're born, they're really tiny. It can be around, like around this size. And they can weigh just a few grams only. That's when they're born. Sometimes we do receive premature babies that are even tinier than that. So yeah, they're really, really tiny though.
Yeah. Awesome. And you guys have some young sloths at the hospital, at the rescue ranch, right?
These young sloths. Do you have young sloths? Sorry. Yes, we do. So just give us like 5 minutes because right now the weather in Costa Rica is a bit cold. I mean, cold for us though. Not as cold as North America where you guys are watching from. So we're keeping them inside to keep them warm. So
Okay.
we're just gonna bring some of them so you can see them.
Okay, perfect. That's amazing. I didn't expect that, but that's marvelous. Thank you so much. All right, while you're doing that, let's get Miss Pearson's class for a question. You guys, I can demute your mic now, so you're all good to go whenever you're up. Run, you're good. Don't worry.
Go ahead.
What makes them so slow?
Okay, that's an excellent question. So the reason why sloths are so slow is to save energy. Now, like I was telling you, these sloths, they are so susceptible to the attack by predators. So they're really slow because, first of all, their metabolism is also slow. So by saving energy, that means that they won't need to eat that much often. So they will stay in one place and then they will process the food instead of looking for food every 3 hours, for example, like us, because we're animals, humans, that we require so much energy that we need to eat every 3 hours. For us, we only go to the fridge, and then that's pretty much the effort that we do. But for sloths, it can be a bit different. So that's the reason why they're so slow, to pretty much save energy.
Yeah. Think of it this way, over the holidays, guys, you guys probably won't be like running around every time you want to get a meal. You'll be sitting on the couch. It's time for turkey. It's all that good stuff. So same idea with sloths and with a lot of animals that'll conserve energy. So good question, guys. All right, we're whipping through these. So let's do another round of questions and we'll see where we are from there. So Mr. Shoot Guy's class, come on up.
How many other places do sloths live in, and how many other places do sloths live in, and where?
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, so sloths, they pretty much live everywhere. This includes like really forest areas like primary forest, secondary forest, and also they live in semi-urban areas. That includes, for example, where we are right now, we're in the mountain. So they live like in gardens in some occasions, and this can be sometimes a bit challenging because in some occasions the sloth will actually try to go into the houses to look for shelter in storms. So yeah, from primary forests to semi-urban areas, and in Costa Rica, like Central America, but also South America, including Argentina and even Brazil.
Yeah. Very cool. I was just going to follow up with that, but you answered it. Can I, so first of all, we're going to highlight the fact that we got some babies out here just saying a hello this morning. And I love that the sloth has a stuffed sloth.
Yes. Yeah. So the reason that I have the stuffed sloth is for two reasons. First of all, because usually they have the mom in the wild, and because these guys are orphans, that give them something to hug, and also to keep them warm in cold days as well. Because the baby sloths, they do not have the capacity to keep warm, just like a baby, at least when they're this age.
Well, they are adorable. Thank you for bringing them out. And if they need to go back in at any point, don't worry, make sure it's good for them, but we appreciate the view.
No worries.
All right, let's go back to Ms. Schluter's class. If you guys have another question, go for it.
How long does it take for them to climb up one tree?
Okay, so just keep so their speed basically pretty much is around 2 meters, 2 minutes per meter. 1 meter is 1 yard, so it will depend on the tree. I would say that if they're going a really big tree and they really want to go to the top, it can take them between 5 minutes to even 30 minutes on some occasions. At least this species of sloth that is a three-fingered. The other ones, they go 3 meters per minute. So these guys are a bit faster.
Sorry, distracted by how adorable that is. All right, let's go to Miss Colburn's class again. Come on up, guys.
No. I don't think we have another question. Oh,
Nope.
oh no, we wanted to know what the climate is like in Costa Rica right now. We have snow where we are. So we kind of just want to know what it's like in Costa Rica.
Yeah, you said it was a cold day there. What's cold to you, Daniel?
Okay, so cool for us, it will be like around 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Right now there's like a small storm passing, so there's just like a little wind. So in some occasions you can feel around 50. We do have our highlands. In the highlands of Costa Rica, that in some highlands these guys can be found. It can get as cold as 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So we don't get any snow, but we do get a lot of rain. And these baby sloths they're about to get used to it as the months pass by.
Yeah. So for our Canadian classrooms too, so it gets as cold as 0, it gets as cold as freezing. And then typically, even when it's like 60, that's like 15, 16 degrees Celsius, not too bad at all. Pretty nice. Better than it is right now in Toronto, I'll say that. Now, you mentioned the rain. So this is a rainforest. How many days a year does it rain? Like what's going on?
Okay. So it depends on the area. For example, in the Caribbean, the average will be around 300 days of rain. The Caribbean doesn't have established dry season. Now here in the Central Valley, it's 265 days a year. So that's a lot of days of just rain and rain and rain. We just got out this year, 2019, between January to May, we got up a serious drought or a very bad dry season that, talking about sloths, we started to receive a lot of premature babies because of the drought. There were not a lot of leaves around. So the moms, apparently they were giving birth before their time. So yeah, we do get a dry season, and in some occasions it can be quite serious, and not only humans, but also sloths can get affected by this.
Yeah, and this is something that we're seeing more and more whenever we talk to groups working with animals, that things are changing in their habitats because of climate change. This is not as like just things are shifting. So we're getting a lot of different things that are challenging animals and habitats in ways that they haven't been before. All right, we're gonna take one more question and then we'll wrap up from there, guys. So Miss Pearson's group, if you guys want to wrap us up, you are good to go.
How much babies does it make a year?
Yeah. Daniel, if you didn't catch that, Daniel, how many babies can a sloth have in a year?
Okay, so in a year they got multiple babies. The sloths do not have a breeding season, so sometimes they can have between 3 to even 4 of them as well. So yeah, it just depends on the species, but I would say between 2 to 4.
Okay. And one thing I always like to do when we wrap up, when we visit places like the Toucan Rescue Ranch, is for classes sitting at home today, like before the holidays, what can they do to help protect sloths? What can they do to learn more about sloths? How can we get these kids actively engaged in doing stuff to conserve the amazing animals you guys have in Costa Rica?
So there's a lot of things that you guys can do from your home. One of the things is this encourage taking selfies with wildlife in general as well. Now, selfies are really connecting with animals, but it's not good because a lot of people use the sloths and other animals for this reason, which it can be really bad for them because first of all, you can encourage these animals to be as pets. Also, there are people on the side of the roads in some occasions where they charge people so you can take selfies with that. You can also tell your friends and your family that sloths are not pets and we shouldn't have them as such because they belong in the wild. And sadly, there's a lot of occasions where poachers come here to Costa Rica to steal the sloths, the baby sloths from their mother, and take them to other countries so they can sell them as pets as well. You also can do some campaigns to raise money for other organizations or even just raise awareness in general.
Fantastic, Daniel. And I mean, one thing that you didn't mention that I want to highlight too is that you guys are an organization that we're partnering with this year to try and encourage kids to actually give back to conservation. So this year it's been over $1,000 that classes have raised for the Toucan Rescue Ranch, which is fantastic. So not mandatory, of course, but if you guys are doing something for the holidays, you can adopt a sloth, take part in their programs, and learn a lot more about the amazing work that they're doing there. So we really encourage you to do that as well. And best of all, with nature, wherever you find yourself in the world, get out in nature, explore your backyard, explore parks near you. Canada and the US are fortunate to have a huge network of amazing conservation places and spaces. And so get out and explore, and it helps a lot. I mean, we're getting to see this in Costa Rica today, how beautiful the wildlife is there and the great work that the Rescue Ranch is doing. But I can't encourage that enough. So Daniel, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for the tour today and getting to see so many amazing sloths. What we do at the end of every session is I'm going to do. Yeah,
This is the voice.
There we go. Hey, I'm going to demute everyone's microphone. And if boys and girls, you guys could join me in saying a huge thank you to Daniel and the team there. You are all now demuted. Go for it. Thank you so much. I like how people are up on the desks. That's awesome. Very cool. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. All our classes, again, wrapping up 2019 with the Rescue Ranch is awesome. And Daniel, thank you so much again. We love your passion.
So much, guys. Thank you very much.
Really appreciate you being here. Have a nice